Allah, Yahweh, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, Achad, Shemai, Allah, Yahweh, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, Achad, Shemai, Allah, Yahweh, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, Achad. All right. Shalom Akyam. All right, I'm Zahad, Spirit Wind Judah of the GMS Mississippi Camp, giving all honor and glory to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, by Hashem and Shai, by Surah Kakodas. Double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the house of David the elect. All right. Um, what I want to get to, into today, all right, is a lesson, a topic entitled Laws, Liberty, and Context. All right. You know, and shalom to you brothers and sisters who are tuning in to this live stream. All right. All right. So, like I said, it's all about laws, liberty, and context, you know, because I'm doing this lesson because some things that I reflect on in my path in this truth, certain thought processes I've had in this truth, all right, certain discrepancies and conflicts we've had with the behaviors of certain brothers in this truth, all right. All right, a lot of times brothers' actions are on the fact that, well, there's no law against this particular action. Well, they did this, our forefathers did this, therefore I'm going to do this, all right? Or you have certain Israelite camps that's not a part of GMS, and you know, you see World Star videos of, you know, a Jake that knows he's an Israelite from a different division of Israelites, and he has one house with 5 wives and 20 kids, you know? But he lacks context. He understood that our forefathers had these type of setups, all right? But he lacks historical and prophetic context. You know, that's why it says in 1 Corinthians, all right, the 7th chapter, they that have wives be as though they had done. So what we're going to go into is basically, all right, the laws, the liberties, and the context, because these things are important. And the first thing that comes to mind is the diet, right? Now, the Leviticus, the 11th chapter, right, it gives us a diet as to what we shall eat, what we shall not eat. And some of the things that we shall eat is beef, all right, that cow, all right, that lamb, that gazelle, all right, those goats, all right, that bird, certain birds, all right, which like quail, you know, that's dealing with our liberties, all right. And the things, the food, the animals that we shall not eat are animals such as the swine, all right, animals such as seafood such as crab and lobster, shrimp. Those are animals that we can't eat, all right. And part of the reasons why we have those laws is because the Most High created our bodies, and he also created the planet Earth. And he created certain animals that have certain uses for the planet Earth and the ocean. And those animals, some of those animals held the use specifically, all right, to be a purifier on the planet Earth, such as those shrimp, such as the swine, all right. They were created to help keep the earth maintenance, to be clean. And the reality of that is they collect germs and they collect bacteria and they eat feces. And I can't forget to mention catfish, right? These are the bottom feeders of the planet Earth and as well as the water. All right, and their purpose is to keep the earth sustained and cycled out and clean. All right. So with that being said, we should not eat those things because the things that we can't eat, such as the cow or whatever, it has several stomachs. Now, what's the purpose of a stomach in a body? All right. The purpose of a stomach inside of a body is to digest food, to make it go from a solid substance to a basically a fecal matter per se, right? Bowel, okay? And then it moves out of your bowels into your intestines, if I'm not mistaken. All right, but a cow has about 4 stomachs. And I'm saying all that this to say, this is why we can't eat these animals. That's why it says it chewed the cud. These animals chewed the cud, meaning they eat grass, they divided the hoof, all right, which are signs in nature, okay, you can eat this animal, okay? So we have those laws, all right? So now we fast forward to 2021, all right, as of today, all right? And you have places like Burger King, you have places like Popeyes, you have places like rallies. All right, you have places like Taco Bell, okay, and we have the liberty to eat what we perceive as what? Beef. So we come into this knowledge, all right, and guess what? You pull up the Burger King, I know I did, and I specifically say I don't want bacon on this, I don't want bacon on that, then I'll be good, right? You might go to Taco Bell, and you just make sure you don't get nothing with bacon in it, which is not that hard at Taco Bell, all right? It's beef, right? All right, so you go to certain events and you just make sure you don't eat the shrimp. So, and are you doing anything wrong? No. According to the law, you're not doing anything wrong. But is it wise, all right, to have a diet specifically of that comes from these Chinese restaurants and all right, and these fast food restaurants? All right, sometimes you're gonna eat, poor quality depending on what you got going on. All right, but that shouldn't be an everyday staple for you. All right, so a brother might get defensive if brothers bring that to his attention, but it's all about context because he knows that he's not doing anything wrong according to the scriptures, but he lacks context. We didn't have a problem. We didn't have Burger King in our homeland, Jerusalem. More so, we didn't have processed food in that time. We didn't have to deal with processed food. We didn't have to deal with the different additives and the different chemicals and things of that nature to give out the perception that you're eating fresh. Excuse me. To give out the perception that you're eating fresh food. So you have the laws, but you also have historical context, and we can't lack historical context. All right, that's just an example. Like I said, nobody just gonna kick you out of a camp because you eat junk food, but you have to understand laws and context. You can't be on a standard American diet and just keep the laws and expect to be healthy. All right, a diet that more fit our heritage, that was more of our culture, was the Mediterranean diet. So, the Mediterranean diet, even the East Indian, how Elam eats, the Pakistanis eat, man. All right, that was more of our heritage, man. But yeah, if you look up the Mediterranean diet, and you just filter it out with Leviticus the 11th chapter, meaning where it says that the Mediterranean diet, you can eat seafood. Well, you can't eat some of that seafood because according to Leviticus 11th chapter, it has to have what? Fins and scales. So what I've learned in this truth over the years, it's about the laws, and it's also on top of the laws, it's about historical context. So like I said, we didn't have McDonald's in the ancient world. We didn't have processed food and fast food. All right. So that's one example. Another example is multiple wives. All right. We know that there's no law. Well, there's no law, there's no sin. All right. We knew that in our homeland. All right. That it was common, all right, for Israelite men to have multiple families. It was common for an Israelite man to have 2-3 wives, right? It was common for a man to have different families, okay? That was just normal, in the way that we know that, because it tells you in the law, all right, the law of our forefathers, that if you have a wife and get another wife, then you can't neglect the things you were doing for the first wife, showing you that there's evidence that it was lawful to have a second wife. It was lawful to have concubines. It was lawful to have female servants. It was lawful to go to war and capture a woman. And after 30 days, you make her your wife or your concubine, man. All right? That was in the law. Now, fast forward the 21st century, where all these laws and these divorce laws and child support and all these things have taken place that didn't exist back then. Now you have Israelite men who wake up to their nationality and they grow a beard and braids and they get real buff, then they get a 2-3 wives, and they entice them with the doctrine, let them know, look, we're gonna build families and we're gonna do this, and y'all are princesses and y'all are queens, or whatever they tell them. And they might be enchanted by that for a while. But what a lot of times happen, especially when you got these Southern Kingdom women, but ultimately, let's just say Israelite women in general, all right? They get disenchanted. All right? This is Eve's time to shine. This is not Eve's time to share a husband. This is Eve time to have her husbands. All right, this is her queendom, man. So what happens in reality with these Israelite men, all right, who get multiple wives, then they go as far as having babies by these multiple wives, and they have all these kids. When those women get disenchanted, a lot of times what can happen is that those women divorce them. See, we didn't have, when the Most High set up our nation and he set up the laws, he set us up as a sovereign nation. He didn't set us up to orient ourselves under Esau's rulership. We've been in America so long, we just think it's second nature to orient ourselves under Esau's rulership, man. You know? So, just like the dietary law, you have to use context. What type of food were we eating back then? It was more Mediterranean. All right, same thing with our women. We had so-called polygamy in our homeland, Jerusalem, but there were no divorce laws. There was no child support. There was no alimony. There was none of those things, man. So you have to understand the laws. And it's good to be aware of your liberty, but you have to also understand historical context. We are not in that time. And something that you always hear the elder apostles say is that we are not in that time. All right. So those two examples were like the first thing that came to my mind when I thought about laws in historical context. The third thing is our rebuilding a so-called Black Wall Street or Israelite Wall Street, or building our kingdom in the confines of America, man. All right. So you wake up to your nationality, all right, and you understand that we're products of consumerism, and we just go to work just to go home and pay bills so we die. And nobody wants their life. Nobody wants to literally be under Esau, Edom, you know. We don't want to be under his limitations. And we know that he's systematically oppressed the 12 tribes of Israel. We know that he oppressed us through his banking system. All right, so what does Jake want to do? Naturally, you want to build your own. All right? You want to buy so many acres of land, and you want to set up businesses, but you lack prophetic context. You lack the understanding of the prophetic times that we're in right now, which is basically Esau is about to sack Jerusalem. Esau is about to choke out Jerusalem with his food supply. All right, Esau is about to put his imprint, all right, within your body. So we're not in that time to build in Babylon, right? There is no new thing under the sun. There are several cities or several towns that are now under lakes. They're underwater because Esau wouldn't allow us to build. Black Wall Street was the most prominent of them all. And what did Esau do? All right. You think he's going to sit back and let you build in his empire? All right. The enemy will come in like a flood. So we know that we're kings, and we know that we have the ability that if we wanted to. All right. We could start our own businesses and do all those things. But America wasn't here for us to build. America is a penal colony. America was here for a certain group of people, all right, to serve their slavery for disobedience, man. All right, it's all about obedience and disobedience. As it says in the book of Daniel, around the 9th chapter and the 11th verse, it said, all Israel have sinned, and they basically transgressed the laws that was written in that contract, that was written in the covenant. Now we're under the curse of Moses. All right, roughly paraphrasing, man. All right, this is from the brother Believe 444. We got to wait on Yahweh Shai. That's right, bro. Psalms 27 and 14. Wait on Yahweh, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on Yahweh. And that's what it's all about, man. I would like those things too, man. I would like to see our people in their own sovereign land, man. All right, but we have to wait on Yahweh by Shema Shai. Because if we start a business, all right, to be independent from Esau, how are we going to be independent if we're using his currency? How are we going to be independent if we're going to his banks, man? All right? See, when Yahweh Shai is about to enter into the planet Earth and overthrow this man's empire, man. He's about to overthrow this man's rulership, man. That's why I said that Israel shall dwell alone in safety, man. All right? Esau's attacking us on so many levels. We can't counter that. That's our natural instinct. That's our natural reaction when we wake up. It's like we make an effort to counter everything Esau does. You know, we start buying organic because he didn't poison the earth. We start, hey, some people took their kids out of school because of the indoctrination. But you can only counter so much, man, when this man is closing in on you. You can only do so much, man. You know? Some things we can do and some things there's nothing we can do about, man. Until our Redeemer gets here, man. Like I said, you have to have understanding, man. We didn't come here, all right? We didn't come here, all right, to rule, man. We came here to serve. And that's not to say that you can't open up your own business. That's not saying you can't hustle. You know, that's what I'm doing. But at the same time, all right, we're not doing that to establish our kingdom here. We're doing it to basically be more a little free and independent, man. All right. So we, as far as our nation being saved, hey, we really gotta wait on Yahweh about Shema Shai, man. All right, because there's nothing that ultimately we can do. And going back to the diet, like going back to the multiple women, going back to the, rebuilding so-called Black Wall Street in Babylon, right? We have to wait on Yahweh about Shema Shai, and it's all about historical context. There's no law, there's no sin. All right, but you have to understand where you are. You are in Babylon, man. All right? We are in Babylon, and it's all about context. All right, that's why you shouldn't eat garbage food. That's why you shouldn't multiply a bunch of women, all right? That's why it wouldn't be wise to make an effort to rebuild a whole kingdom here, man. All right, it's all about laws, and it's about liberty, and it's about your context, the historical and prophetic context. Because knowing those three things will help you make better decisions here in Babylon. It'll help you navigate better in Babylon, man. And that's part of maturity, man. An elementary state of mind in this truth is, hey, there's no law, there's no sin, brother. You know? Let me get the scripture this brother has. All right, 2 Samuel 7 and 10. It's from King Parathon. Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel and will plant them, that they may dwell in a place of their own and move no more. Neither shall the sons of wickedness afflict them anymore as before time. And that's a beautiful scripture. All right? So we just have to wait on Yahweh Shema Shai, man. We all want to rule now. We all want to have our own without being under the demonic vibration and being within the claws of Esau either, man. We all want that, man. We all want to raise our little ones, our boys and our girls in a righteous society. And we don't have to worry about them being, encountered by the alphabet community or being enchanted to be a part of the alphabet community. We don't have to worry about, different potions that, Edom wants to put in our bodies and our sons and daughter bodies. We all want that. But we can't do it without our own arms. We have to wait on Yahweh Shema Shai. For us brothers, we love women. We all want a bunch of women and different women, and we all want to have to not use rubbers and all that stuff, man. But it's all about laws and context and waiting on Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, where we can actually have beautiful women and have a beautiful family and a loving wife, and she's in her natural element. She could just be 100% her feminine, submissive beauty under Yahweh Shema Shai, man. All right, that's gonna be beautiful in the kingdom. All right, but now that's not wise, because y'all could be happy today, then y'all could be splitting up tomorrow, man. But then again, y'all got children behind that, so that just causes more chaos, man. All right, so like I said, it's all about knowing the laws, but it's also about knowing the context in which you execute your liberty, man, or exercise your liberty. But with that, I do hope you brothers and sisters were edified. Once again, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, by Shemi Hawashai, by Shemi Hakodash. Double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops, great millstone rule well. Peace and blessings to the house of David the elect. Abba, Abba, Kum Yasha'Allah, Shalom.